On a dare, I cried all the way from the comedy club to my house. The girl I was with named Gladys Jacobs said, "Why you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, no, you don't understand. I was born tonight. Well, I've been asking God my whole life, what's my purpose? I need to find something that I do. I won $50 first time in the comedy club. I went to work the next day, October 9th, and quit my job with $50 in my pocket. Married, twins, $50. My ex-wife said, you can't do that. That's foolishness. Her mother told me, you're not even funny. My mother told me, boy, you don't do stuff like that. You work like your daddy and your brothers. I said, no, mama, this is what I was born to do. And my mother was saved and, Sunday school teacher, so I believed everything my mama told me. But this one time I said, Mama, I got to go try this. I said, this is it for me. I said, if I don't do this, what I'm gonna do? She said, you gonna work like your daddy did. Your daddy worked hard. I said, okay, well, I just work hard, but I'm gonna go be something. The only person in my family that believed in me was my father. He said, boy, if you think you can make it, go ahead. Now, if you need some help, I'll give you 100 every now and then. And I've done nothing since that day except tell jokes. Now, I got in a lot of trouble. By the time I was 30, I was homeless. Because the first year in comedy, I only made $3,500. The next year, I made $5,000. The third year in comedy, I made $6,800. You get homeless real fast like that. So I was trying to make my little money and send it to my wife and kids, but it wasn't enough. So I would just keep $25, enough to stay out there and get to the next gig. And, it didn't work for me for 3 years. I lived in my car. You have to take chances in life. If you want your life to be something special, you eventually have to take a chance. You can't do normal things and expect extraordinary results. It doesn't work that way. You have to take an exceptional chance one time. And it's gonna cost you something that you care deeply about. Bishop Jakes told me one time, he said, in order to get to the next level in life, you can see where you wanna go, but it's a glass ceiling. The reason you can see it is because it's a glass ceiling. In order to break through a glass ceiling, you're gonna have to shatter the glass. Anytime you shatter the glass, it's gonna be blood shed. And the blood that you shed is gonna be something that you care deeply about. So if you are not willing to shed something you care deeply about, you cannot go to the next level. Most people let their family keep them from going to the next level. Some people, your friends. Some people, it's your job, your position keeps you from going to the next level. But if you go to work every day and you ain't happy, if you don't wake up overjoyed to go to work, that ain't no life, man. You got the wrong job. And you know why you got the wrong job? Because you ain't living in your gift. You only find peace and happiness when you live in your gift, the thing God created you to be. If you don't ever do what God created you to be, man, you'll never be content. You'll be miserable. All the time I was miserable. For 27 years, misery. Couldn't figure it out. Until I won that money. I won $50. Just 50. It changed my whole life. I made a lot more since that 50. But guess what? I still tell jokes. It's all this is jokes. I don't be nothing else. I don't be funny. That's the deal, ain't it? If you hire me, you gonna get these jokes. Because that's my gift. What you want me to do? They hired me to speak at this insurance company one time. All these big wigs sitting there. So I started telling jokes. The audience was dying laughing. This guy came up to me and said, I hired you as a motivational speaker. I said, that's what I do. Well, what's the laughing for? I said, because it holds people's attention. I said, go ask everybody what they got out of my message today. It ain't gonna be the jokes. It's gonna be something I told you. But you got people that they don't want to hear that. But that's my gift. And if you live in your gift, you'll find your completeness. Until you live in your gift, you cannot be complete. When God created you, he gave you all a gift. All of you in here are gifted. You are gifted people. What is your gift? Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. Once you identify that, your life changes. God takes you to new heights. You find peace, you find joy. You wake up in the morning, you can't wait to go to work. If you waking up in the morning and you hate going to work, it's cause you ain't living in your gift. I don't even have an alarm. I wake up every day ready to go to work, cause guess what? I'm gonna go tell these jokes. They're gonna give me this check. Look what I'm doing. Look, that is available to you though. That God that created you has that same thing available to you. Every last one of you. I bet he do. I dare you to try it. I dare you. I mean, yeah, there's some people that I've met, man, that were like heroes to me. When I met Richard Pryor at the ABC Comedy Awards in '96, I was standing right in front of him at this table. And this lady said, "Steve, do you know who you're standing in front of?" I said, "No." She said, "Turn around." I turned around, it's Richard Pryor. I bent over, I shook his hand. He said, "I heard a lot about you. Flynn told me. You're pretty funny." And this Richard Pryor couldn't even talk. I said, "I love you, man. Thank you," because he was the whole reason I got into comedy, you know. I got through talking with him. The ABC Comedy Awards was in this huge hangar they had decorated. I went behind the bar, I cried for 20 minutes. I couldn't even. Richard Pryor. Then this girl came back there and saw me and got me and said, "Richard wants you to call him sometime." I went to my seat and started calling that number from my seat. I got Richard Pryor's phone number, and I ended up forming a friendship with him before he died. I used to go by his house, play dominoes with him. That was a moment. When I met Muhammad Ali, that crushed me. Cried again. I ain't when I meet people that really matter to me, you know. Met Mike Tyson one time and just was scared. Wasn't a hero of mine, and then I was just scared of him. Well, same advice I give to my kids, man. If I could get them to understand the importance of their 20s. Cause man, you know what I did? I just blew my 20s. I ended up spending all of my 30s fixing what I messed up in my 30s. Now I spent all of my 40s doing what I could have been doing in my 30s. I looked up, man, I had let too much time slip away. If you could get young people to get their foot on the gas pedal in their 20s, because right now they think going out is everything. And I keep telling them, man, you're gonna outgrow that in a minute. Cause you know, like at this age, it's when somebody says, "Hey, we're gonna go out to a club tonight." What? Go out to a club? Are you kidding me? It don't make no sense to you now, cause you're over that. But it takes a minute for them to understand that, man. It's sad. I wish they'd get it, but I wasn't clubbing in my 20s. I didn't know how to make a vision board. I didn't know how to. What really changed my life, man, was I got in Amway when I was about 24. I got in Amway. And that changed my life, man, because the first time ever, they introduced me to self-help books. And I read 2 books that changed my life. It was The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. I read them books and it changed my life. But it also made me remember what my mother had taught me, because she was a Sunday school teacher, because all self-help books are Bible-based. It's nothing, everything comes from the Bible. All them self-help books, that's Proverbs. That's all it is. It's the book of wisdom and understanding. If you could read that, it'll change your life too. But sometimes you need, regular books where you can relate to it differently. But it's all comes from the Bible. It's like a great book is The Secret, but if you read The Secret, it's all Bible versed. I mean, it's just based on the Bible. You can't think of nothing new how to tell a person to succeed without the Bible. You can't. It doesn't work that way, So a couple of books changed my life, man. But The Magic of Thinking Big was huge for me. It just taught me one simple principle. It don't cost no more energy to think big than it does small. You can say Volkswagen and you can say Rolls Royce with the same amount of effort. You ain't got the grunt to say Rolls Royce. So if the Bible is true, which it says a man is as he thinketh, if you think poor thoughts, you got to be poor. The moment you change that thought into wealth or riches, you start the process to becoming wealthy or rich. It's not a magic trick. It's really how it works. People complicate it. You got to do this and you got to do that. But the Bible's pretty plain. They ain't got no loopholes in it. It really don't. It's just real simple. It say what it say. All you got to do is believe it's talking to you. That's what it is. Most people don't think that God is talking to them, that I come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. You don't think he talking to you? He'll give you life more abundantly. He do. He really will. You ain't got to be rich to have an abundant life. Sometimes you just need to be healthy, happy. You could be really happy, man, making $70,000 a year. You really, really can. You don't need a few million. I did, but you didn't need a few. It helped me a little bit. But to be honest, it didn't make me happy. It really didn't. Until you, need God to be happy. So I ain't no preacher, so we got ministers in the room, so I'm just telling y'all from a hood perspective what I did to get here. You can go to church and hear it, or take it from a dude to come out the bottom. Ain't got nothing. Ain't gonna pass the offering tray. I don't really care. If you don't believe me, you ain't got to. But I made it.
Don't ever give up. I don't care how dark it seems for you. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop believing. And I know sometimes that's difficult because it seems like, man, it ain't going right at all. I was reading a book T.D. Jakes has out. It's called Hope for Every Moment. It's like one of those, you've seen those daily thought books. It's inspirational thoughts for every day of the year is what it is. My daughters actually gave it to me for my birthday because they've seen me change as a person over the years. I'm not guessing this, they've actually written it to me. And so they really do appreciate the change of me just becoming a better person, because when you become a better person, you become a better person not only for yourself, but a lot of people are affected by you being a better person. Your children are affected, your wife is affected, your co-workers are affected, a lot of your friends are affected, your neighbors get affected. But when you become a better person or start to make that change, it affects a lot of people. The biggest benefit of it all will probably be you. I know I've benefited the most. There are so many auxiliary benefits of just being a better person. And I've stopped saying trying to be a better person because I just got to go about the business of getting better. Now, doesn't mean that I'm mistake-free. That's not what that is. And it doesn't mean I don't still need encouragement and I won't fall and make a lot more mistakes, because I will. But I find, man, in these books that they give me, I find so many inspirational things. And this morning when I decided to say to everybody, don't ever give up, because I know how difficult it can be, because I do understand, man, that we will all face moments and challenges in our life that's going to require us to just hold on. I wanted to encourage everybody. In this book I read, it says, well, it didn't say it, but I'm paraphrasing it now. If you ever felt like you can't find him nowhere, you ever been in a hole so dark and a situation so bad, you just felt like, man, I just can't find him nowhere, or I can't find him where I thought he would be. I've actually felt that before. And I was thinking, man, well, okay, Steve, well, maybe a lot of people have been feeling that way. Maybe you ought to share your experience with them. And that's what I'm doing today. Maybe you've told yourself that the storm gonna be over soon. See, this is the one that I used to do. I used to say, man, the storm gonna be over soon. And then the sun came out and then it just left. Okay, hold on. Then the sun came out and then it just left. And then the rains just keep coming. Sometimes, man, you just go, wow. And it almost feels like God done missed his appointment. Okay. See, this is why I used to really get in trouble. I used to think, man, okay, is he not listening to me? Does he not hear me? Because I'm not only calling, I'm actually crying. I'm crying out. And I want this to be fixed now. I used to think, okay, man, I've been praying about this. I've been going through this. Okay, I done said I give. I done already said I get the message. I've done said I get the point. Man, I was wrong. Do I have to keep getting beat like this? Ain't I paid enough for my wrong decision? I used to just think like that. I think he'd have moved on it by now. But what I want y'all to remember is that, and this is what I read in this book. In the book, it said that God doesn't synchronize his clock by your little mortal watch. God don't synchronize his clock by your little watch you got on your wrist. God is in control of this whole thing. He does not move in a timely basis according to what you got to have. Now, he gonna fix it for you. He gonna get it together for you. But it's in his time, because he doing a whole lot of shaping and moving. And what I had to learn about when I was praying for stuff was, it ain't just me that's affected. Remember at the top where I said when you become a better person, it affects everybody? Well, guess what? When God answers a prayer, it affects everybody. See, everybody got to learn lessons along the way. And maybe he got you going through a little bit more than what it looks like they going through, because he never puts more on you than you can bear. And so he puts you in a situation that you can handle. So what you got to do is, since God don't synchronize his clock by your little mortal watch, he got a set time that he gonna bless you. The key for you is to hold on. That's the key for you, is to hold on.
Okay, let me tell you this. I was gonna tell you this. The way to become a millionaire, if you could think of how to become a millionaire, you do it by Friday. You don't have to go that far. All you have to do is think of your God-given gift. All of you have the ability to make, you can charge, all of you can do something somebody will pay you $10 to do. I don't care if it's cutting grass, doing their hair, painting a wall, babysitting, taking care of the elderly, teaching, tutoring. Everybody can do something for $10. This is how I got to this place of success. My jokes were $25 a night. I made that for a long time. Whatever you do to make $10, this gift that God has given you at birth, because God never created a soul he didn't give a gift to. All of you have one. All of you have one. I don't care if it's frying chicken. Some of you fry chicken better than anybody else. Bake pie. Do hair, something. Do whatever it is for $10. After you make the $10, I want you to do it 10 more times. You'll now have $100. After you make $100, whatever you did to make the $100, that $10 idea, I want you to do it 10 more times. You're gonna have $1,000. Now, it's gonna get a little more difficult, but after you make $1,000, whatever you did to make the $1,000, I want you to do it 10 more times. You now have $10,000. Now we gotta focus now. Whatever you did to make $10,000, that started off with your $10 idea, what I want you to do is focus. I want you to do it 10 more times. You now have $100,000. Now, this is where it gets very, very difficult. You're gonna have to hire some people. You're gonna have to pay some people some money. But you take that $100,000 and you reinvest it. And what I want you to do is whatever you did to make the $10 that you did 100 times, that turned into $100,000, all I want you to do is take that same idea. Don't change nothing. Do it 10 more times. I got news for you. You have just made $1 million. And all it was a $10 idea. You do not have to complicate this thing. You don't need an education to do this. You just need the principles of success. I'm telling you, man, I took these $25 jokes and I turned them into a lifestyle. You can take this God-given gift that he gave you and stop thinking of how to make $1 million. Just go make $10 and do everything 10 times as hard. Now, it's going to be hard. Understand that. It's going to be very hard. But you ain't got nothing else to do. Because let me tell you something about being not successful. Being not successful, that's really hard too. So you might as well apply yourself to something that has a benefit. I'm telling you, that's how you make $1 million. Quit tripping. Quit tripping. You have the way God has already given it to you to make $10. All you got to do is do it in multiples. That's all anybody do. That's all. It's just 10 people got on Facebook. Then 10 more people, then 10 more people, then 10 million got on. Now they got 100 million people on Facebook. Now, but this dude making billions of dollars. It's the same thing. It's what it is. You have it in you. You just got to apply. And you got to believe that it can happen for you. All right, you ain't got to believe me. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm telling you. You know what you should do? Every time you get a chance to experience first class, you should do it because it plants a seed. It's like the next time you buy an airplane ticket, just ask for an upgrade. Pay a little extra money to fly first class. What it does is it conditions your mind. Once you get in first class and you see how wide the seats are, and you find out why they shut that curtain, see, because they shut that curtain because they can't let you see what's going on up there. They passing out hot nuts. Everybody get a washcloth. They got a menu. You get to decide what you want. All the drinks is free. Once you sit in first class one time, the next time you get on a plane, it's very difficult to walk past them seats. And then your mind starts thinking of ways to get back to first class. And guess what? That's what you start attracting to your life. And you start behaving and producing stuff to get you back into first class. That's how you move up. You just like buy you one really expensive outfit. Just see how it fits. That shit is high for a reason. Don't think they down there just putting prices on. Buy a really expensive pair of shoes, lady. Buy a really expensive purse one time. Just go on down there, buy the real Louis Vuitton that ain't ever on sale. Louis Vuitton don't even have sales. Just get you one. When you carry it, it changes your life. It will then cause your mind to subconsciously produce thoughts to get another one. And next thing you know, you attract the thing you need to produce the outcome that you want. Life is all about the law of attraction. That's how you do it. Just try it.
The beginning of being anything is the dream. The beginning of being anything, it starts with a dream. One day, somebody had the dream of being able to fly like a bird. Well, today we have airplanes. Somebody had a dream of one day going into outer space. People go to the moon and they come back. People one day had dreams of being able to travel at high speeds, all types of things. It all starts with a dream. Martin Luther King had a dream that one day all of us could unite and come together. Well, it's happening. It hasn't fully happened, but it's happening. But it started with a dream. Those dreams are available to each and every one of us. So parents, if you have a child that says something that's beyond the realm of your thinking, don't make it not possible. So when your child says, I'm gonna be a star, and you don't really see the talent, they got something in them that you might not know about. They may have a dream and something burning inside of them that you don't know anything about. It all starts with a dream. The Bible says that a man without a dream or a vision shall perish. And that's so true. If you don't have nothing you're working for, nothing you're shooting for, you really have no focal point in life and you wander around aimlessly all the time. So all of you out there, whatever your dream is, and dream big. My father used to tell me all the time, he says, son, aim for the moon, because if you miss, you'll still be amongst the stars. The bigger you dream, the wider you let your mind fly, the more capable you become of accomplishing the thing. See, you gotta understand that it doesn't matter your financial circumstance. It doesn't matter what environment you live in. If you can see yourself out of the project, if you can see yourself outside the ghetto wall, if you can see yourself anywhere, then guess what? See it. See it and believe it to be so. That is the beginning of all things happening. It is your dream and your vision. And let me give you some advice. Don't share all your dreams with everybody. Because the moment you say something to somebody and they don't see it for you or themselves, they start telling you how it won't happen. Now you allow that into your mindset when all you was doing was wanting it to be so. And now guess what? Then comes the stumbling blocks, the hurdles, the pits in the road. And now you find yourself trying to understand what they were saying when all you really had to do was go on with your dream. So when I have dreams or ambitions, I only tell one person. I usually tell my wife. And after that, I don't really share it with a whole lot of people because I know that everybody ain't pulling for me, but I know she is. So I share with her what I'm thinking about becoming and doing and hoping for us and our family. And that's who I tell it to. I don't tell it to my friends, my boys. I don't tell it to my manager. I don't tell it to nobody because guess what? They got their own agendas too. Now they don't see it for you because then that's going to get in the way of some plan they had for us and them. And now next thing you know, they working against that because they got another plan. So I don't really share it with people. I share it with my folk and I share it with my God. And that's it. But do dream. If you can't think of what to dream, stop at a magazine stand or a bookstore and flip through magazines and see stuff that you'd like to have. See places that you'd like to go. Imagine things that you'd like to be. Sit down and close your eyes and imagine where you would like to be, because that is the beginning. It is the dream. There's a whole series of things you got to do to become successful, but just today, I'm just going to stay on this one thing. Do not be afraid to dream. Do not be afraid to think that you can. And remember this, you ain't too old to have a dream. Anybody can dream. I don't care if you're 45, 55, 65. You can dream about something. It can still happen for you. And the younger you start dreaming, the better you get at dreaming. And when you get good at dreaming, then after a while, you're going to have to start making some of this stuff come true. And next thing you know, you're on your way. But it starts with a dream. So dream big, open up magazines, cut them cartoons and them sitcoms off and quit watching soap operas all day. And do something that'll stimulate your mind. The Travel Channel, the Discovery Channel. Watch a cooking show. Just get into some other things, man. You never know what's inside you, and something may spark a flame that burns in you that you really didn't even know you had, but you got to open up your mind and let it fly. Dream on with your bad self, and don't let nobody tell you that you can't. And the best way to not have a person tell you you can't is to not tell them what you want in the first place. It's your dream. It really ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
And in my story, maybe you can see some of yourself. Listen, man, anybody can be successful, but you got to understand something. It's hard. It's hard, man. You can take all the courses you want. It's hard. You can go down there to the church and hold your hands in a prayer circle. When you get through praying, it's going to be hard. You go to school, you can get all the degrees you want. When you get them degrees and you hang them on the wall, if you want to be successful, it's going to be hard. It's hard being successful. That's the first thing you need to understand. I was telling you that I lived in a car for 3 years. In my 30s, I was homeless. I was homeless based off of a decision I made. October 8th, 1985, I walked in a comedy club for the very first time. Never been in a comedy club, but I had been writing jokes for a dude taking my jokes, going to a comedy club. He was paying me $10 for it. I had never been to a comedy club, had never heard of a comedy club. I was writing for a buddy of mine named AJ Jamal. He would pay me $10 a joke. One day, I was writing some jokes for him, and I was over his house to drop him off, and this girl named Gladys Jacobs came over to the house. And she said, "You the dude that's writing the jokes for AJ Jamal?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "He the funniest dude at the comedy club." I said, "At the what?" She said, "He's the funniest dude at the comedy club." I'm 27. I've never heard of a comedy club. Now, all my life, I wanted to be on TV. I'm going to tell you that story a little bit later. But I just said, man, at the comedy club, she said, "You should come." She said, "Why don't you tell the jokes yourself?" Now I'm thinking, I said, man, this could be what I've been asking God my whole life. See, some of you in this spot where you keep asking God, what do I do next? What's my next move? You know the hardest thing about your life? Trying to figure it out. Ain't that hard? But do you know that you ain't supposed to do that? Do you know that God already designed you for a purpose in life? And if you would just simply ask God what it was, he could guide you to it, and the search for what I'm supposed to do would be over. But oh no, we so busy figuring it out. I got news for you. How to do something, the how-to is none of your business. That's what I never knew. So I was just wanting, man, to just be on TV since I was a little kid. And this girl said, come to the comedy club. So I go to the comedy club with her. She said, we gonna go Tuesday night. I want you to sign up to perform next week. And then I want you to see how I go first. I said, cool. So I went, I walked in the comedy club, I signed up for the following week, and I sit down, supposed to be 10 dudes perform. 9 of them went up. Now I ain't laughed all night. She said, you're not laughing at none of these jokes. You know why? Because what they were doing was my actual gift. It was the thing I've been doing my whole life. So I wasn't laughing at their jokes because I knew everything they was gonna say, and I knew everything they should have said where the joke would have really been funny. So I'm just sitting there just a student, man. So it got to the 10th guy, and they called his name, and nobody went up. And they called his name again. They said, well, looks like number 10 isn't here. We're gonna go to next week's list. Steve Harvey, come on out. I looked at that girl, Gladys, I said, this crazy. I said, there's somebody in here got the same name I got. She said, you really can't be this stupid. She said, boy, that's you. I run up on stage, I ain't got nothing. First thing I say to the audience is, hey, I appreciate y'all clapping, but I ain't supposed to be here. I'm on next week's show. So the girl Gladys yelled out, tell them about when you was boxing. So on the way down, I had told her this story about boxing. So I did the boxing joke. Mike Tyson loves to fight. Yes. He don't care if it's in the ring or out the ring, man or woman. Mike just wants to get it on. And if you don't think that's true, you just ask that heavyweight fighter Mitch Green. These people was in the flow laughing. So then I ain't had nothing else. So I had wrote some jokes for my buddy AJ Jamal that I hadn't sold to him yet. So I said, well, hell, let me try these. So I did them jokes. They died laughing. They brought me off stage. They brought all 10 of us up on stage. They had a clap off. That night, I won the clap off. I won amateur night, October 8th, 1985. They paid me $50. I get in the car. I'm 40 minutes from my house. Gladys is driving me home. I'm crying the entire time. I can't stop crying. She said, what you crying for? It's just $50. I said, no, you don't understand. This ain't $50. I've been born tonight. This ain't $50. This God answering a prayer of mine that I've been praying for 20 years. This ain't $50. This is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. I went to work the next day, October 8th, 1985, and quit my job. I have done nothing since October 8th, 1985, except one thing. I've been telling these here jokes. That's all I've ever done. That gift that God gave me, you know, the Bible says your gift will make room for you. It'll make room for you. See, if you're not doing your gift, you're wasting your time. Your gift will make room for you. You got to identify your God-given gift. If you don't identify your gift, you're going to waste your time. Telling jokes is my gift. So even as a motivational speaker, I use my gift. Nothing's more boring than sitting up listening to somebody talk for 45 minutes and you ain't laughed in 45 minutes. Listen, if I want to, I could turn this into a comedy show. I promise everybody in here be throwing up. If I want to. 1968, came off school off of a summer vacation. I'm 10 years old. The assignment the teacher had was everybody in the school class, write your name on a piece of paper and what you want to be when you grow up. I wrote on my paper, I want to be on TV. That's what I wrote. That lady said, turn in your papers. She went around the room, called everybody's name up. You had to stand while she read your paper. She read off everybody's name. She saved me for last. She said, little Stevie, come to the front. I'm thinking, okay, this is it. I ain't never had a gold star in school in my life. I've never been recognized for academic achievements in my life. I've never got an award of any kind in my life. Here I come. Little Stevie coming to the front. I got a belt that's too big, it's tied around me twice. They used to call me Tater Chip in school because I was shaped like a potato chip. And I walked up there and I'm standing in front of class. Now I told you a minute ago I had a severe stuttering problem in school. I could not talk outside of my house. I stuttered severely. I thought this woman was going to give me a gold star because I figured nobody else in the class had wrote I want to be on TV but me. So mine must be the best answer of all of them. So I'm standing up there and that lady started in on me. She didn't call me up there to give me no gold star. She called me to the front to humiliate me. And that lady did me. She said, why did you put something like this on your paper? Now, you've called me to the front. You know I have a stuttering problem. You know I can't talk. So she started, why did you write this on your paper? Who in your family ever been on TV? Who in this school ever been on TV? Who in this neighborhood has ever been on television? She said, why would you write something like that on your paper? And look at you standing there, you can't even talk. I was crushed. Why would you write that on your paper? You can't even talk. This is a teacher. You're supposed to be shaping and molding my mind. We pay you to educate. Why would you write something like that on your paper? You'll never be on TV. Every Christmas, I send her a flat screen TV. Because I don't want her to miss me. I wanted her to see what God had done for me. The fact that they don't see the dream, the fact that they don't see what you can be has nothing to do with what God can do. Nothing at all. I don't care who you are, go cut your TV on. You cut your TV on 7 days a week. That little black boy with the stuttering problem, he all over that TV. That little black boy messed around and became a TV star. She didn't see it. How many times have you shared a dream with somebody and they didn't see it? I heard somebody talk about the importance of education, and education is critical. You have to be educated. You have to be well read. You got to be well versed. There's no way around it. I'm going to make a statement. I don't know how it's going to fly in this room, but here I go. Education is not the most important thing in your life. It's not. I spoke at a school one time and I said that the principal of the school came up and had me removed from the stage. I was just trying to help his students. Education is not the most important thing. Do you know how many people I know with education that ain't working? You know how many people I know with degrees ain't got no job? Do you know how many people I know with multiple degrees ain't making no money? The single most important thing in your life is your dream. It's your dream. It's what you dream about. It's in your Bible. It says a man without a dream or vision shall perish. It don't mention education in the Bible. The University of Jamaica is not in the Bible. Without dreams and visions, you can't make it. If you got no dream, if you got no vision, you're sunk, you're done. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you the basics of how to be successful. This is how I got here. I'm going to give you something that changed my life. A very short scripture changed my life. You have not because you ask not. It's in James 4:2. Listen to me. I can't even tell you how big that is. Look at me. This is the coldest thing I'm going to tell you today. You have not because you ask not. It's that simple. Most people don't have the life of their dreams because you ain't never asked God, could you have it? You've been trying to do it yourself. You've been trying to figure it out for yourself, how that's been working out for you. Kind of crazy, ain't it? I just told you earlier, you can't figure it out. Ain't no scripture nowhere tell you to figure it out. What you trying to figure your life out for? It ain't yours. You ain't make it. You ain't the creator. You ain't got nothing to do with tomorrow. You can't change the past. So what you tripping with your life for? You have not because you ask not. Y'all ain't never asked God, could you be rich? Most people ain't rich today because you ain't never asked God, could you be rich? I ask God every day when I was homeless.
My God is faithful, and my God is powerful, and my God is in charge.
At the lowest point of my life, I ask God every day, could I be rich? You know why? Because I had it up to here with being poor. I lived in a car, dog. I ain't had no backyard. I ain't had no TV. I ain't had no phone. I ain't got no bathroom. I ain't got no sink. I ask God every day, could I be rich? I told God, if you let me make it, when I get there, every chance I get, I'm going to tell everybody it was you. Here I am. And it was him. It was him. Now you got another route you want to take, go ahead. See, the thing about having faith is you don't need nobody's permission. You don't have to take out a loan. You don't have to get accepted into the course. You can start your faith today. You can start your walk with God today. You ain't got to clear it with nobody. There's plenty of openings. He's available. All you got to do is go. I got rich, and I'm not bragging, but I'm just telling you, I got rich because I asked. It is an amazing scripture, man. If you would only ask, well, Steve, what do I ask for? Everything. You want a relationship with God where God is not only your king, he's your companion, he's your guide, he's your friend. You know how you can tell your friend anything? That's the relationship he's looking for. You ain't got to go to church to get that. You have that at your house. You can have a relationship with God on your own. You got to have that, man. You got to start asking God for big stuff. Stop wasting God's time with all this little stuff. Lord, help me make my rent. Don't he always? Has it ever occurred to you that maybe you should ask God for a mortgage? You ever thought of that? You don't think God got mortgage money? But you know why you don't ask God for the mortgage? Because you keep getting in the way. It says you have not because you ask not. But you say, well, I don't have a job that dictates I would afford a mortgage. I don't make enough money. I got bad credit. You think God don't know that? He said ask. You have not because you ask not. So you rule yourself out of the mortgage simply because you won't ask. Just go ahead and ask God for the house. You think God don't know you need a better job? You block your own blessing because you get in the way of the answer. Just ask God for big stuff. Lord Jesus, help me get out of debt in 7 years. Why would you ask God to get you out of debt in 7 years? Who you think you're talking to? Ain't this the same God that made heaven and earth in 6 days, why would it take him 7 years to get you out of debt? He made heaven and earth in 6 days. You need 7 years from God to get you out of debt. You're crazy. God do big stuff. Ask God for something big. Now, here's the second. The next thing you need to do, Oprah been on TV for 30 years telling people about vision boards. If you don't have a vision board, if you don't have your dreams written down, that's the other reason you don't have it. I just gave you the 2 main reasons why people don't have the life of their dreams. Number 1, you don't ask God for it. And number 2, you won't write it down. It has to be written. You have to write it down. It's a principle of success. Anybody can be successful. You just have to know the principles of success. See, I know the principles of success. I could stop and go start selling tomatoes, and I could go make a lot of money selling tomatoes. You know why? Because I know the principles of success. The second principle you need to know is you have to write it down. But that's the scripture. That's Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain, so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. I don't know but 4-5, but I know 4-5 good ones though. Everything I've ever dreamed and asked God for, I done wrote it down. Everything I ever had come from a piece of paper. And everything extra I got come from his grace. I got stuff, he gave me stuff more than on the paper. But see, you ain't got no time for that though. So here's the exercise I want all of you to do. I'm just telling you how to be successful. This is how I did it. I ain't gonna take no course. I flunked out of school. I have no education. Albert Einstein has a quote that changed my life. I'm gonna give it to you, because this is for everybody in this room, because it's something that we all have and you may have never understood it. Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. I want you to listen to me now, because this gonna be my last thing. But this is so good, man. If you can get this right here, this can change it for you. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. You know what that means? That means everything you see in this world came from somebody's imagination. Everything. The Wright brothers said, man, I want to fly like a bird. They laughed him out the gym. See, you've been thinking all this time that your imagination was just some hocus pocus. It ain't. It ain't. I'm finna teach you something now. I want you to hear me on this one, because this is the most powerful thing that I can tell you today. Albert Einstein had that quote, but Albert Einstein took that quote out the Bible. Albert Einstein took the second half of my mother's favorite scripture. My mother's favorite scripture is, and you've all heard it, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Oh, I'm in front of the right crowd now. I usually tell that to people, they be going, where's that? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. What better message than faith and hope? While you sitting in this room trying to get to the next level, listen to me. There will be no more levels for you unless you get to the next level of your faith. There ain't no more levels for you, partner. You where you at. Your imagination is a preview of a coming attraction God has for you. That's what your imagination is. That's what it's been this whole time. All them times you've been imagining being rich, That wasn't just up there. God put it in your head because that's what he got for you. That big house you keep wanting, God put it in your head because that's what God got for you. That promotion on the job you keep imagining, that's what God put in your head because that's what he got for you. When you keep dreaming of taking a summer vacation somewhere, that's because that's what God got for you. When you dream of retiring one day, having retirement income, it's in your imagination because God put it there, because that's a coming attraction that God has for you. That's what your imagination is. You've been tripping. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Now check this out. The second half of that scripture. And the evidence of things not seen. Here go the lesson. Your imagination is the evidence of things not seen. You know why it's the evidence of things not seen? Because your imagination, you're the only one can see it. Nobody can see your imagination but you. But God places what he has for you in your imagination. After you become an adult, it shouldn't be hope no more. This ought to start turning into some faith. You got to go, man, I done hoped hard enough and God gave it to me. What's the matter with calling it faith? Quit hoping, man. Turn it into faith. Faith is the belief in things that you cannot see. You got to ask God for something. Remember I told you, write it down. Ask for something from God. You don't know how in the world you're going to get it. You know what's on my vision board? Things I have no idea how I'm going to get. That's what ought to be on your vision board. You know how many times you done wrote your imagination off? You know the danger about your imagination? You tell it to the wrong people. That's the danger. You want to kill a big dream? Tell it to a small-minded person. Boy, they'll shoot it down every time, won't they? You know how many wonderful ideas you've had. Stuff that God gave to you, you thought was, man, this is it. You went in there to your friends and your family and you shared it with them and they shot it down. You know why they shot it down? Because they ain't see it. You know why they ain't see it? Because God ain't give it to them. Because he put it in your imagination. If he'd have wanted them to imagine it, he'd have put it in their head. That's why people can't see what you're going to be. That's why that teacher mind, look at you, you're standing there. You can't even talk. How they going to put somebody like you on TV? Well, lady, what you didn't know was I wasn't going to stutter forever. You didn't know God was going to get me over the stuttering, did you? You didn't see it. Because nobody else from 112th Street ever been on TV. You ain't think I'd be the first. You know why? Because you ain't see it. But God didn't put me being on TV in her head. He put it in me. He put it in my head. I was just dumb enough to think it could happen. When you gonna get dumb enough to think that your imagination is real? If I was you, I'd hurry up and get that stupid. I really would. I know this is a motivational conference. I know you want to hear about some book you can go buy and read. You already got the book. It's at your house. It's the one with the dust on it. Do you know everything you need to know about success is in there? Every self-help book today is written off the principles that's in the Bible. Now, is it good to buy these other books? Yes, it is. But if you got a Bible, it's in there. But if you want to buy a book that's based on the Bible, go buy this book called The Magic of Thinking Big. Faith without works is dead. You have not because you ask not. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Write the vision and make it plain. I gave you 4 right there that changed your life. Somebody say, well, if you're going to mention God, you need to stop all these jokes. This is what I do. I tell jokes. I tell jokes for a living. You know how much money I done made telling jokes? I told the dude when he hired me, I use humor because I hold people's attention with humor. I'm telling you, somebody going to find something wrong with it. Somebody always finds something wrong with what you're doing, even if it's okay. Somebody always. Man, don't you know I'm used to that? I don't appreciate him talking about the Lord that much. Well, okay, well, don't have me back. I didn't like the jokes. We're here for motivation. I didn't like the jokes. Go on social media right now. They dogging me about something. But you know what? It don't matter what they say, because what they say don't matter. Who is these people talking about me? Don't none of them people that's talking about me ever met me. They thumb gangsters. Hey, listen, I've told you a lot of things. I hope you grasp some of it. I want you to know that I was really honored to be here. I pray. I ask God what to go tell the people. I come out here without the paper. And I tell you what God told me to tell you. I hope I've encouraged you. I hope I've reminded you of some things. I hope I've shed some light. I hope that you all live the life of your dreams, because it's possible. God is in the make your dream come true business. I told you what he did for me. What he did for me, he will surely do for you. Hey, I love y'all. Thank y'all very much. I've discovered that your career is what you paid for. Your calling is what you made for. Sharing my story, if it helps another person get to where they want to be in life, wherever that is, I think that's a pretty good deal. I mean, I've evolved over the years. I've never been afraid to reinvent myself. Ask us to write on a piece of paper. We came in from summer what you want to be when you grow up. So everybody filled out the paper. You had to put your name on it, had to write this one thing in 1968. So I wrote, I want to be on TV, because nobody had told me I couldn't. I was 10. My vision was wide open. So I wrote, I want to be on TV. She collected all the papers. She started going around the room, naming everybody's name, had everybody stand up. And she read what they wanted to be. Barbara wanted to be a nurse. Johnny wanted to be a basketball player. Robert wanted to own a gas station. Cindy wanted to be a doctor. She got to me, she waited last. Now, I had never gotten a gold star before, all of my years of school. And she asked me to stand. And when I stood, she said, "Little Stevie, come to the front of the class." Now I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is the gold star moment. I've been waiting 10 years for this. I ain't never got a star before. This is the day. So I started walking to the front. I'm skinny. I got my brother's clothes on because we were poor. I got up there and she said, "Steve, let me ask you something. What did you write on your paper?" I said, "I want to be on TV." She said, "And why did you write that on your paper?" I said, "Because that was our assignment for today." And then she said, "What you write that on the paper for?" Now I'm thinking to myself, judging by the tone of this conversation, this might not be the gold star moment I thought it was going to be. So I started cowering down. And she said, "So why did you write it on the paper?" And I said, "Because you asked us to." Voice is really soft. She said, "Do you know anybody on TV?" I said, "No." "Anybody in this school ever been on TV?" I said, "No." "Any of your relatives been on TV?" I said, "No, ma'am." She said, "Take this paper. I'm going to call your mama. When you go home, I'm going to tell her you being a smart aleck in this class. Now you take this paper and you come back with something more believable on it." So she pinned a note on me and I had to go home. My mama was waiting on me because she called the house. So my mother said, what you doing up at that school being a smart aleck? I said, Mama, I just did what the teacher told me to. She read the note. She said, what you write this on your paper for? I said, because the lady asked me what I wanted to be. I want to be on TV. She said, I'm telling your daddy when you get home. Well, my father was the executioner. My mother was the warden, and he was the executioner. And I knew when he got home, I was going to get my ass whooped. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, that slipped out. I didn't mean, sorry about that. I was going to get my butt whipped. And so when my father came home, she told my father, look what Steve wrote on this paper. So he read the paper. He said, what's going on here? Said, Steve up at that school act like a smart ass. That teacher done asked him what he wanted to be, and he done put, I want to be on TV. My father read the paper. He said, what's wrong with that? I started thinking, a reprieve. So he said, boy, go in your room. I'll be in there in a minute. And I got my spankings in the room, so I went on in there getting ready. Him and my mother had an argument. My father came in the room. He said, boy, what you write this on your paper for? I said, because I want to be on TV. He said, what she want you to write on the paper? I said, like a basketball player or policeman. He said, put that on paper. Take it up to the school and give it to that dream-killing heifer. So I write it. He said, now take your paper. He said, before you go to bed tonight, now this is my father now with a 3rd grade education. My father was a sharecropper in Alabama. He said, read your paper every night before you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, read your paper before you go to school. Read your paper every day and read your paper every night. I took my paper up to the school and I turned it in. It took me till I was 38 years old. But I finally, I got on TV.
The devil don't care about you. The devil wants to keep you from your destiny. That's his one job. Satan got one job, to keep you from your destiny. The devil don't ever want you to be what God created you to be. So guess what? When you discover your gift and you think I'm about to make a move and go be what God created me to be, then here go the devil. You got this job over here, you're going to lose your 401k. Once you get your paper straight, you can skip all of this. You can get yourself started in the process, man, but you got to quit letting the devil keep you from your destiny by tying it to this little job you got, because he's tricky with it now. He got you thinking you're going to mess your credit up if you quit your job. What you mean mess your credit up? You overextended now. You got good credit, but you can't buy nothing else with it. If your card maxed out at $5,000 and you got $4,090 on it, where we at? Come on, y'all. You're going to have to make a choice, but you can't let the devil fool you. He tried to keep you from being who God made you to be. Look, man, I don't know if I'm getting through to you, but I want you to hear me. I do, man. Look, I wish everybody before they die could experience what it feels like to wake up and do what you was born to do. It's so cool, man. It's so cool. If you've been dreaming of opening that business, you should start the process. Don't try to figure out how to make the business make $1 million. Just start the process. See, if you make one step, he'll make 2, but he can't make his 2 unless you make your 1. So you got to start. Fill out the application. Go get the patent. Send in the paperwork. Get your federal ID number. Do something, man. Start creating a website. Let your job sponsor your dreams. Take some of your check money. Quit playing one of them punk bills. Take that money and start your website. What is you talking about now? If you owe Kmart some money and Sears, what is you paying them for? They finna be out of business. Take whatever money you owe Kmart and Sears, take that money, buy your business cards. Take one of your bills one time, instead of paying it, start your website. But start. If you make 1 step, he'll make 2. And don't worry about where you're going with it. Just get started. He'll show you the way to go, because he wants you to get to your destiny. But he got to make sure that you want to get to your destiny first. If you tell him you want to get to your destiny, that God you serve, he going to show you how to do it. You can believe that. Don't forget to pray. Don't be ashamed to pray. And don't ever be too proud to pray, because prayer changes things. Stay right here on Faith Street, y'all. The box you asked for is coming. Everything on my vision board I get. I built on my house one time. My wife wanted a special kind of car. And I built the garage, the extra garage on the house.
She came out there and saw them. She said, Steve, what are you doing? I said, I'm building an extra garage. She said, Steve, we got enough cars. What do you need with another garage? I said, don't worry about it. 2 years went by. I had been looking for this car. I went to dealerships. They said, sir, there are none in that color. I said, she want a white one. I said, so I went to the dealership. I said, I want you to get this car in for my wife. She said, sir, there are none in the country and none being made. I said, okay, well, when the car come in, could you accept it into your dealership and call me when it get here? He said, sir, I done told you, I can pull it up on the computer. There are no cars in that color, that make or model. Do you want another color? I said, no, my wife wants white. She said, sir, we don't have that. I said, I've already built the garage. I've already built the garage. All my garages have chandeliers in them. I don't have doors that go over. All my cars have chandeliers hanging over. And I have marble floors in my garage because I like stuff like that because I saw it one time. So I said, I've already built the garage. He said, sir, there are no cars like that anywhere in a computer base. I said, I just need for you when the car comes in. So a year went by. I said, any word on the car? He said, no, I've called the factory. They're not even making anymore in that color. I said, okay, I'm looking for this color right here. He said, sir, we don't have it. I said, I'm gonna give it to her for her birthday, October 10th, 2016. He said, sir, that's impossible. I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's just a car that I'm asking for in a particular color. How that's impossible? He said, sir, I can't find the car. I ain't asked you to. I asked you when it come through, would you accept it into your dealership and call me? That's all I asked you for. 2 weeks before my wife's birthday, I got a phone call. It was Perillo from Gold Coast in Chicago. He said, Steve Harvey. He said, are you sitting down? I said, no, I'm standing up. What's happening? He said, you're not going to believe this. A guy bought a car a year ago. It's been sitting in his garage. It has 8 miles on it. He bought it to me to turn in to me and ask him, how much would I give him for? I said, what is it? He said, it's the white car you've been looking for. I said, I'll be up there to get it. He said, this is unbelievable. I said, that God I serve, he's an unbelievable God. I don't listen to what nobody tell me. Once I write it down, I write the vision and make it plain. It will come. Surely it will come at an appointed time. It doesn't matter that nobody sees it. It doesn't matter that it's visible to other people. All you got to do is write it down and believe it. God is greatness, man, all day long. What he's done for me, he'll do the same thing for you. But you got to write the vision. Go home and read Habakkuk 2:2. Go home and read Bible verse Habakkuk 2:2. Read what it say. If you do that, you'll change your life. Appreciate it. I was 26 years old, man. I was struggling. I didn't have nothing. And these people owned the furniture store in Cleveland. And they took me in and gave me my first contract with my little carpet cleaning company. When I became a comedian at 27, I didn't have money to travel. They gave me an account at their travel agency. And man, I ran up a bill like $11,000 just trying to travel and make it. Them people right there, you know, man, they helped me out. I used to spend the night in hotel parking lots. What was I gonna do? I ain't had nowhere to stay, so I lived in the car. I had $35. And I said, come on, God, man, I've been trying to make this dream come true. You done left me out here like this. And I was crying so hard that he just said, I didn't like hear a voice or nothing, but he spoke to me. And however, he said, if you get up, I'm gonna take you places you ain't never been. Now I was finna quit. So I said, skip it. I'm gonna quit anyway. So I got in my car, I went to a payphone, and I was gonna call my dad. You remember back in the day where you could punch in a code and call your answering machine and get your messages? So I called and I punched in the code and it said, doop. He said, hey, Steve, this is Chuck Sutton with Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of you. You're very funny. if you could get here Sunday night, we'd love to put you on television. Call me back. Let me know if you can make it. So I hung the phone up. I'm crushed because my whole dream of being on TV, and I couldn't get to New York. I got $35. How am I gonna get to New York? I can't make it. So I'm standing there at the phone booth and tears just coming down my face. I said, God, so that must be a sign for me to go home. Cause this it, I ain't even got the money to go to the Apollo. My whole thing, I wanted to be on TV, I couldn't even make the dream come true. This is the most messed up moment. And so I said, man, let me call this dude back and see if he said this Sunday. Cause maybe he said next Sunday and I could hustle up a little bit of money or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but let me just call him back. So I called him back. Steve, this is Chuck Sutton, Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of yours. You're very, very funny. Look, we have an opening Sunday night at Showtime at the Apollo. If you can make it, we'd love to put you on TV. I said, it's this Sunday. Before I hit the button, I heard, doop, you have another message. Now, it wasn't there before. So I punched my code in. I listened to the second message. It said, Steve Harvey, this is Tom Sober from the Comedy Caravan. This was a Thursday. He said, I have a gig in Jacksonville, Florida on Friday night that pays $150. If you can get there Friday night, you'll make $150. So I called him back and I said, hey, Tom, did you get a gig away? He said, no, it's still available. He said, can you get there? I said, I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I'm 3.5 hours away. So I drive to Jacksonville, Florida, and that night I made the 150. Club owner said, man, you funnier than the guy we hired. If you stay tomorrow night, I'm gonna give you another $150. So now I got $300 now. So I get on the phone, I call Chuck Sutton. I say, hey man, is the gig still available at Showtime at the Apollo? He said, well, we got one opening left. I said, I'll be there. So I called Eastern Airlines, who used to be open back then. They had a special for $99 going from Jacksonville, Florida to New York round trip. So I parked my car at the airport. I got on a plane, flew. Everything I had was in 2 bags. Got to the Apollo. I said, hey man, I'm here. I got there at 11 o'clock in the morning. He said, you can't stay here because you don't come on to the late show tonight. I said, man, I ain't got nowhere to go. I said, if you just let me stay in this building, man, I ain't gonna move around nothing. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm in Harlem. I can't go back out here. I got these 2 bags. I got victim wrote all over me, man. So he said, all right, if you go upstairs, don't come down. So he put me in the dressing room on the 6th floor. So that's where all the comedians were. So I stayed up there. I got hungry around 3 o'clock and I couldn't take it no more. So I went back downstairs, dude named Alton Liston. I said, hey man, he said, man, I thought I told you don't come down them damn steps. I said, hey man, I'm just hungry, man. I said, let me go to that KFC I saw in the corner. Just let me get some chicken. I'll come right back. He said, man, if you ain't back in 20 minutes, you ain't getting in this building. So I went, bought me some chicken, came back. So the comedians started coming in the building. They started coming up on the 6th floor. So I meet this guy named D.L. Hughley. I introduced myself. He introduced himself. I'm sitting there. Another guy come in named Dwayne Johnson. Then this other dude walked in named Jamie Foxx. And I introduced myself. We don't know each other. Ain't none of us famous. It's 1991, man. They gave everybody the lineup. I was on the last show of the night. I don't go on to 11 at night. I done had this 4 pieces of chicken. I'm starving, man. That chicken done wore off. I'm nervous, man. I'm about to throw up. D.L. Hughley went downstairs. D.L. Hughley got booed off. Dwayne Johnson got booed off. Jamie Foxx went down there and got booed. They booed Jamie, then Jamie started singing. And then they started clapping. And Jamie had their ass, then he went back to them jokes, and they got his ass. So I'm walking down the steps and I see Jamie sitting on the steps. I said, hey man, hang in there. He said, man, that ain't never happened to me before, man. This is crazy. This Jamie Foxx, man, one of the most talented people in all of comedy. And now, you don't even know how nervous I am. I can't even. My breathing is shot because these dudes been booed. So I walk out. I had wrote this joke. Mike Tyson had got in a fight in Harlem with this heavyweight named Mitch Green. Mike Tyson had hit the dude in the eye in the store. Now he was on the news, his eye was swollen. So the joke I wrote was, they was interviewing Mitch Green and he was telling everybody what happened, but his eye took over the interview. And I wrote this joke that his eye started talking and was just, I tell you what happened. The heavyweight champ's fist is coming towards my face. I just said, Lord, Lord, Lord. And I wrote this whole joke about this dude's eyeball talking. And when the punch came, and all this here, I walked off stage, man, just started crying. I couldn't believe it. They paid me. I made $750 for being on TV for one night. I'd never made $750 telling jokes in one night. And so that was my first television appearance. A couple weeks later, Sinbad was the host of the show. He got this job on Different World. And so he quit. And so Mark Curry became the host. And then Mark Curry got hanging with Mr. Cooper and he quit. And they came to me and said, would you come back to New York and host amateur night for us to just try you out? Oh, ain't no problem. And so I went to New York. I hosted amateur night and I was killing. But every time we went to commercial break, I was supposed to let the warm-up act take over like Ruben does. But I knew not to let the warm-up act do that because he would change the attitude of the crowd because the Apollo was a wild place. So I stayed out there. I did the warm-up and the hosting. And I created a bond with that audience. And that's how I got on TV. It was my very first TV show. I hosted Showtime at the Apollo. I ended up being the longest running host in the history of Showtime Apollo. I did that show for 8 years. Nobody ever did it for 8 years. And that was my turn back moment. See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you can go forward or you can give up. The thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what. Because God is always coming. He's never too late. At your worst moment, look man, when they told me I had to be in New York, I saw no way I could get there. But that God don't. He make the phone ring. I end up in Florida, I make $300. Then I go to New York, I make $750. Almost got $1,000 out of nowhere. That's what happened to me. That was my moment of never giving up. That's when I first learned that faith was everything, that you have to remain faithful. When I was homeless, I had a lot of time to myself. Actually becoming homeless was exactly what I needed because God needed my undivided attention. And he had it for 3 straight years because I had nothing. And you know, I'm just one of them people where sometimes you just got to get my attention, you know what I mean? So I can't tell you about no education because I ain't got one. I ain't got no degree in nothing. I've been told my whole life you'll never be nothing simply because of the way you talk. You know how many times the way I talk, man? Because you know I'm kind of country. I don't really speak that good. You know, my English is not eloquent. I know that. But I ain't never let that stop me. When I first got on TV at NBC 7 years ago, they sent a linguist to see me. I didn't even know what that was. I thought this lady was finna show me how to make spaghetti or something. I didn't know, I never heard this. What is a linguist? So the woman comes in my office and she says, are we ready to begin? And I said, excuse me, ma'am, who are you? She says, I'm your grammar coach. I said, for what? She said, NBC is of the understanding in order for you to be successful on daytime TV, you're going to have to learn how to speak more eloquent. Oh, I said, I ain't finna do all that there. She said, excuse me? What did you just say? I said, I ain't finna do all that there. She said, say what you just said to me again slowly. I said, I ain't finna do all that there. She said, that's exactly why I'm here. Because that is improper grammar on every level. I said, yeah, but I talk just like this here. She said, say that again. I said, I talk just like this here. She said, slow that down. I say, I talk just like this here. What's the problem? She said, if you don't learn how to speak more properly, you'll never be successful. I said, who told you that? You walked into my office. I'm already on TV. You know, where you trying to go with this? See, the reason I'm not going to let you change my mind is because I've never known you up until this point. Now, I've made it to this point without you. I don't know how you figure I ain't going to get the rest of the way without you. So I'm just looking at this lady. She says, listen to me. If you don't learn how to speak better, you'll be off TV. I said, okay, well, let me ask you something. I said, which one of these sound best to you? I am broke or I'm is rich? I mean, you know, look, man, God gave me a life I never even really dreamed of. He gave me even beyond what I dreamed of. I mean, you think about it. The money they pay me is to wake up. I either play music or I tell jokes. I either play music or I tell jokes. I entertain people for a living. They give me money. That's a blessing, man. See, when I wake up, I don't have to go to work. I get to go to work. See, that's the difference, man. Some people have to go to work. I get to go to work. I get to. I don't have to. You know, I mean, I was doing this for years for no money. But through grace and mercy, you know, he just kept blessing me. And then, you know, I got other things I want to accomplish, you know. I'm not through. You know, I've been at this a long time, man. Like, I'm thinking about the end, you know. But all I want to do now is make enough money to change kids' lives. You know, my foundation is the most important thing. I'm gonna do some stuff over here in Ghana, Botswana, and Joburg. Those are 3 cities I'm targeting for my foundation to come and change. You know, so that's what it is now. That's motivation. And then, you know, I'm a trailblazer, man. I got to show other people how to do it. You know, my job now is to show y'all how I did it. That's why I talk all the time about motivation. I talk more about motivation now than I do comedy. Because, you know, your career is what you paid for. Your calling is what you made for. So I'm in the calling part of my life now. You know, I have to, like when you ask me a question, see, I can't just, like if I tell you you got to write it down, I'm telling you how to make it. You have to do that. Now you can try to do it. If you could try to not do it, it's gonna be hard. But so I always try to give people little pieces of wisdom, because you're young, you know, everybody in this room, you want to be happy and you want to be successful. Everybody in here wants to be happy and successful. If you don't want to be happy and successful, there's something wrong with you. Most people want to be happy and successful. You just need the key, the how-to. That's my job, is to show you how to. Like if I give you one scripture that can change your life and I tell you Habakkuk 2:2, and then you don't follow that, that's not my fault. So now you know that you have to write it down. Like if you look at my iPhone has my vision board on it. I ain't got no picture of no dog or my wife on my phone. My wife is at my house. My wife she's somewhere, she's in Rwanda right now. Because I put stuff that I dream about on my iPhone. My vision is on. So every time my phone rings, I look at it, I think of my visions and dreams. Every time I pick up that phone, I should pick up that phone to make one of them dreams come true. When I open up my laptop, the same thing on the laptop. So every time I'm texting or email, I'm trying to make a dream come true. I don't have time for nonsense. You know, like like what they say about me in the blogs. It don't matter what they say. They don't know me. They don't even know me. They never met me. They say negative stuff about me. It don't mean nothing. Look at me. What I care what they say. God keeps blessing me. It don't matter what you say. You got to know who you are and whose you are. That's all you need to know. I know who I am and I know who I belong to. And that God of mine ain't gonna let nothing happen to me that I can't handle.